every day. Makes me wanna holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, yeah, we need them. Yes, we do. We need those strategies.
As long as we're living.
Yeah, I think we are, too. Hey, folks, welcome. Welcome into Strategies for Living. Are you ready? You ready for your daily dose?
Well, I thought I was ready, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Always, always surprises that come up.
You never know around here.
Thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living today. I'm Dr. David McMillian. She is psychotherapist, PLPC, Lauren Leon McMillian. We have our new book out.
Yes.
10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. Mm-hmm. And we're getting quite a bit of buzz on the book.
It's kind of surprised me how, excited other people have been. I mean, I know.
Pleasantly so.
Yeah. I mean, I know we were, excited to write it, but it's always a nice, pleasant surprise when other people share in the excitement.
Yeah. We've, a lot of people are doing that. They love the exercises. They love the interaction that each chapter
I'm really glad
offers.
For that, because that was something very intentional that we put in.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the very first chapter, mm-hmm. Lauren, and I will talk a little bit more about the 10 truths today. Mm-hmm. But the very first truth is we are creators.
Yes.
And we begin each chapter with a quote. Mm-hmm. We quote Deepak Chopra.
Of course.
In this chapter, he says, the most creative act you will ever undertake is the act of creating yourself. And I began to think about this a bit in terms of freedom. I want to talk a little bit in terms of freedom.
Yep.
Because the question that I want to raise is, if we're not embracing the fact that we are creators, are we free? Mm-hmm. Can we be free? Now, people may say, well, what the heck do you mean by that? Okay, well, stay with us and come back.
We'll work it out.
And we'll talk about, in fact, we'll raise the question, can we truly be free if we don't embrace the fact that this first truth says we are creators? Folks, thank you for tuning into Strategies, and we appreciate our sponsors making it possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, and some pretty good Muffies, too. Are we free? Are we truly free? We're going to consider that today, among other things, as we talk about the 10 truths that will change your life here on Strategies. Be right back. Welcome into Strategies for Living Radio. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, thank you for being with us. We're talking today, big news. If you don't know, we've got a book out. Lauren and I have our very first book out. You can get it at Amazon.com. It's called 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. Been out for a week and a half, 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
Getting some good feedback, and I appreciate that. Thank you. I begin to think about especially this first truth, Lauren. We are creators. I am a creator. Let me quote President John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States.
Right. Okay.
And he said, "The great revolution in the history of man, past, present, and future, is the revolution of those determined to be free." Now, how many times do you hear me say, if I live to be 105 years old, and I hope I do, I want to remain a curious student right up through the end.
Yep.
Right? Yep. I want to sail in with a notepad, taking notes, and I'll try to pass them on to you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So, let's begin here by being curious and asking.
What does it mean to be free?
Yeah, maybe it's the most important question we could consider.
Well, and I think especially we as Americans, perhaps when we are so proud of, land of the free, home
of the brave.
Yeah.
Well, and so the question is, am I free? Are you free? Are you and I completely and totally free? And are we sure? And without a whole lot of contemplation, people answer, well, heck yeah, I'm free. But wait, W-A-I-T, what am I thinking? And how? How am I thinking? Our founding fathers, proved, they put everything on the line. They proved that freedom was something deep inside of us, right? The desire for freedom is deep within us. And of course, we live in a free country. We proclaim that we're free.
Right.
We deeply believe I am completely free. And, I'm gonna flip this upside down. Is it possible that belief itself, I am free, may be causing a problem? Because, hear me out, because the belief stops us from pursuing true freedom. Some of us will even get into fight mode. We'll go fighting, shouting, and loud and bold about freedom, and we scream that we're totally free.
Well,
but are we?
Yeah.
We'll say, well, wait, who else is in charge of me? I'm in charge of me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And yet, and here's where the creator part comes in. Yeah. Maybe, in Louisiana, we talk about lagniappe, right?
Right.
Yeah. We have all kinds of crazy words in Louisiana. Lagniappe is one of them. Fais dodo. We'll even call a stew a fricassee, or a gumbo with a good roux. Try spelling all of those. Yeah, you won't feel free very long trying to do that. But we say we're free, and yet we are a lot of us are run by programs that were passed down to us.
Right.
That we've never questioned.
Well, and you are truly free to still choose those. And that's where the great truth of that we are creators comes on board, because no matter what your belief may be, you're always creating. Whether you choose to believe or recognize that or not, that is the case.
You're saying that we can never not create.
Absolutely not. Yeah. No.
Even if we're not conscious of it.
Right. That's the only question. There's no question as to whether we're creating. The question is, how consciously are you creating?
Yeah.
And how consciously do you choose to create?
And can we truly create consciously if on board in what I call our ego mind operating system, our EMOS,
Right.
if it is packed full of beliefs that we got from other people? Now, I'm not saying that those people aren't well-meaning, right?
No, absolutely. But I hear you. What you're saying is you're questioning, are we then slaves of the past?
Yeah. And do some of us, are some of us even willing to go to war, to fight tooth and nail?
Well, I think that's what we're seeing now in the world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That I'm free and gosh darn it, I'm going to prove it.
Yeah.
Well, and I would argue, if you're truly free, there is no need to prove it. You know.
Yeah. You know from deep within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're free to create your world as you wish it to.
Right. When you come from there, you're coming from a place of true power.
Right.
And that's creativity. That's complete freedom to create.
Yeah. Well, and because we talk a lot about how if we're looking for freedom, it often goes hand in hand with responsibility. And that's the piece that I think people don't really like to look at or recognize as much, right?
Well, with
great power, with great freedom
comes responsibility. Right. Yeah.
And what that means is it's the ability to respond.
Right.
Which is your conscious choosing of how you're going to create in the world.
Which means that we've got to take complete ownership of our lives,
right,
and the lives we lead. And that means acknowledging that where we are today, and this sometimes can be uncomfortable, but where we are today is to a large extent a result of the choices that we've made in our past. And it also means understanding that the future's not set in stone.
No, absolutely not.
We can't, a lot of times we can't control everything out there, whether out there is in our neighborhood, whether it's in our city, whether it's in our state,
or the country,
whether it's in our country or the world. It's out there.
Right.
And many times we don't have a whole lot of control over that. What we do have total control over is what's inside of us.
Right.
What are we choosing to believe?
Right.
What are the stories that we're telling ourselves?
How am I choosing to respond to what's in the world?
Yes.
To consciously co-create alongside what's being offered.
So what we're really talking about here is a shift. We're talking about a mind shift. And the mind shift is really one from victimhood to empowerment. Now, that's an uncomfortable thing to consider.
Yeah.
That maybe we are victims.
Oh, sure.
Maybe we are considering ourselves and seeing ourselves as victims.
You don't have to look far into the world or the news to
see
that happen.
We live in a world that is just inundated with that. But when we do that, we are giving up our freedom. That's the point.
Yep. Yeah.
When we're seeing ourselves as a victim of anything or anybody, we give up freedom.
Right.
And we get into a trap, the victim's trap, the victim's triangle. I mean, if there's a victim, then there's also a persecutor. And victims and persecutors, victims are looking for rescuers.
Right.
And so there's the triangle. There's the trap, if you will. And once we're in there, it can go on and on and on and on.
It's like a little merry-go-round.
And many times it goes on throughout a lifetime, Lauren.
Or perhaps lifetimes.
And that's the whole point of considering this. We are creators and the question of, are we truly free?
Yeah. Yeah, because if we say it all the time, she made me mad or he made me sad. I mean, immediately that tells you where your power lies.
Right.
I mean, if somebody
It tells you immediately that you're giving that power away to somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's not about saying, well, I'm not going to have feelings. You absolutely are.
Yeah.
But it's about reframing and seeing that, wow, because of this event or this person, whatever this person said or whatever happened on the outside, and especially maybe whatever happened in the news that I saw, it triggered a response within me.
It's feeling. It's the willingness to feel those feelings
and own
those feelings as mine,
and then integrate them,
and then decide, okay, what is it that I want to do? How do I want to respond? Because there's a big difference between reacting and responding.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so how do I want to respond to the feeling that I'm feeling right now? Now we're on the pathway to freedom. Now we're on the pathway to true freedom. We do have to, again, to be able to truly be free, we've got to be willing to unpack. Sometimes it's a lot of unpacking, too.
Oh, yeah. It's a lifetime of work.
It's a lot. There's a lot of beliefs stored in there that we just got passed down to us. And they're not really ours. I mean, we could make them ours,
Absolutely.
truly, if we examine them, take them out, unpack them, and decide, yeah, I want to keep that belief. But to operate on somebody else's belief, we may be giving up a lot more freedom than we think. We're talking about 10 truths today that will change your life. That's the name of our new book. You can find it on Amazon. I hope you will. We'll be back in a moment with more strategies. Stay with us. You're going to see the difference. When you go to Azalea Cleaners, you'll hear about it too. Azalea Cleaners has been fine dry cleaning since 1958, plus laundry, alterations and repairs, comforters, wedding gown cleaning and restoration. You'll hear about it from your friends because they'll see it too. They'll notice the Azalea difference. Azalea is convenient. 732 Azalea Drive, 9220 Ellerby Road, and 9227 Mansfield Road. Plus, the front door of your home or business with Azalea's delivery on demand. Just text SETUP to 249-8283, and Azalea will pick up your clothes and deliver them back clean and fresh to you. You can't get closer than that. That's the Azalea difference. You'll notice it right away. Others will too. The Azalea difference. Fine dry cleaning since 1958. Text SETUP to 249-8283 and get the Azalea difference. AzaleaCleaners.com.
Hi, this is Jay Merle for Pintail Roofing. Let's talk about quality. When you hire Pintail to build your roof, here's what you can expect. Quality and quality control are the most important concerns for us at Pintail, and you need to know that Pintail stands tall with swift and professional performance on any warranty call. This is our most important policy. And remember, we're your neighbors. We'll be here for you for the long haul. Our family's lived here for over 100 years, and we aren't going anywhere. On the commercial side of Pintail's business, our fluid-applied roofing solutions can save thousands of dollars over conventional commercial roofing options. Call Pintail at 226-ROOF for a free inspection of your home or commercial building. That's 226-7663. Pintail Roofing. What's the condition of your roof?
And welcome back into your daily dose of Radio Rehab. Yeah, that's us, Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian here on Strategies for Living. Glad you're with us. And have you heard about the new book, 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life? And we've already started with the first truth. I don't know that all of these truths are important, Lauren. I don't know that I would say, you may disagree with me, but I don't know that I would actually say that one is more important than the other, because they're all truths, and these, we didn't make these up.
No,
so
I mean,
these are the compilation of.
They're not anything new.
No, they're not.
In fact, a lot of them are ancient and timeless.
Absolutely, and a lot of them have been shared by life strategists through the years. We've had the privilege of having wonderful life strategists on, people like Dr. Norman Shealy and Joan Bursinko and Dr. Daniel Amen and Don Miguel Ruiz, right, and Dr. Wayne Dyer and Dr. Bruce Lipton and Dr. Raymond Moody. I mean, we've had it's amazing the over the 30 plus years. Sometimes when you look back and you say, "Wow," I got to spend an hour, or in some cases, like with Wayne Dyer, he was on, I guess about 3 or 4 times. I got to spend 3 or 4 hours with Wayne Dyer. I got to spend a couple of hours with Dr. David Hawkins, and it's just it's amazing. But what we've tried to do is we've tried to compile kind of and distill a lot of these teachings. And we've really tried to put it. We're calling our little publishing adventure "Strategies for Living Little Books."
Yeah, right.
And the reason we're doing that is, and we've gotten some good feedback so far. I really appreciate the feedback so far that we've gotten from people who have bought the book, read the book, and have taken the time to give us some feedback. We appreciate that because it tells me, okay, well, our intuition was right. We talked about, you and I talked about this, Lauren. Our intuitive selves said, we need to keep this KISS, keep it simple,
right,
sir. Yeah, and that's what we tried to do.
Yeah.
And so...
and bite-sized and bulleted for all of our attention spans today, right?
Right.
Keep it engaging, but then also to have the interactive portion as well, so that it's not too intellectually heady. But I truly believe that that's a great missing part from most therapy worlds today. Whether it's talk therapy or another form of therapy or counseling, is the somatic, the body being able to really go out and practice the beliefs that you change within inside of you.
Yeah.
Putting them into action in the world, because as long as we are seeing ourselves as a physical being, it's important.
You mean as a body? If we see ourselves as a body,
as having a body, it's important to acknowledge that body and to act out through the body.
Here's the thing: we do have a body, but our body is not aware of itself, and that's that can be revolutionary for people to hear. What? Your body's not? No, an arm doesn't.
No.
Isn't aware of its armness. A leg isn't aware of its legness.
Right.
The only way the body is able to experience itself is through sensations. And the sensations allow us to feel, if you will.
Right.
But sensations aren't aware of themselves.
No.
Memories aren't aware of of their memoryness, right?
Right.
Sensations aren't aware of our sensationness.
Right.
So what's going on there? Okay, if the body's not self-aware and sensations aren't self-aware, sensations allow us to experience the body. But if sensations aren't self-aware, well, what's going on? Well, it's the mind.
Right. But the mind isn't even aware of itself either.
You are right. You are certainly right. So what in the world? I mean, the mind is going to make us aware of the sensations in the body. But think about this. When you undergo anesthesia, right, that they can do anything to the body.
Right.
when they put us under anesthesia in surgery.
Right.
They can even keep us in surgery and operate on us if they need to for hours and hours and hours. And as long as they keep us anesthetized, then we're okay.
Right.
Because it's blanking out the mind. But as it turns out, as you say, the mind's not self-aware.
Right.
So how do we know that the mind's there? Consciousness.
Right.
There's
a third level. There's a third observer.
And yet, consciousness, again, you put us under anesthesia and we're not conscious anymore.
Right.
So there's a level over consciousness, and that's, you could call it awareness, you could call it the God self, you could call it the
your higher
super
self.
consciousness, your higher self. People label it a lot of different things. But we are body, we're mind, and we're spirit. And if we don't have an understanding of that,
right,
then again,
and all three parts are incredibly, I mean, it makes me think of the teaching of the Trinity. Of course, we have that in Christianity.
Right.
But we see that in several doctrines throughout time, is the importance of that triune of the three,
right,
the Trinity, and mind, body, spirit is just another Trinity.
And
I dare to say it's another holy Trinity, right? It's another way of looking at that.
And just as we started the program, if we're not understanding, if we don't really have an understanding, and we haven't taken the time to stop and examine this, this interface between body, mind, and spirit, who that's what we are. That's who we are.
Right.
Then there's no possible way we can be free.
No.
Not totally.
And I think another important paradigm shift that we need to make is the idea that it's body, mind, spirit. And I'm thinking of that in terms of expanding circles, right?
Right.
So the body, we often say that we're a body and we have a soul.
Yeah, it's the other way around.
Exactly.
Right.
We are a soul who has a body.
We're a spirit who has a mind.
Who has a
body. And a spirit and a mind have a body.
Right.
And the body, really, as consequential as most of us make our body is actually
it's the last thing. It's the materialization of the interaction between the soul and the mind.
And here's another truth that 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life talks about. From the body perspective, one of the things that we have to be willing to embrace is that life is finite.
Sure.
That's a truth.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that our life doesn't go on in spirit.
Right, because our spirit is eternal.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but the 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life is not a book of religion.
No.
It's not a book of dogma.
No.
It's a book of practical spirituality.
We intentionally left out any, particular religion or dogma.
Now, I could say that if a church Sunday school wanted to invite us to come and talk, and I hope some will.
Yeah.
There are, I could, we did not.
There are biblical references to
we didn't include the biblical references in the book because this is not a religious book. However, I could go through all 10 truths and I could give you biblical reference after biblical reference after biblical reference for each and every single
because
truth.
Again, they're not new things that we've made up. They're ancient. They're pulled from ancient wisdom that we've heard over and over again. But hopefully they're renewed in a way that we can understand them in the modern world.
Yeah. We in the truth, the chapter 6, which is life is finite, and again, it's talking in embodied. In embodiment, we have a certain number of days. We don't know how many days those are.
Right.
Well, but we have a certain number of days. Life is finite in the body. We begin by quoting Neil Armstrong, the first guy on the moon, right?
Yep.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. We quote him, and he says, I believe that every human has a finite number of heartbeats. I don't intend to waste any of mine running around doing exercises. That's Neil Armstrong, you know.
Yeah.
And but again, if it's sometimes we are so fearful of this thing called death that we won't. We won't embrace it. By embracing the idea of the finiteness of life, death is what, in fact, gives life meaning.
Exactly, right. Because I was going to say, I would argue that often people who are most afraid of death are actually most afraid of living.
Yeah.
And I think that's important that we all really, really look at. If I have a great fear of death, then ask myself, am I afraid of life? Am I afraid of living? And in what areas of my life is that showing up as a fear to really embrace life? Because, I mean, death, it's a given. It's a given. And I think we really, really need to talk about death more, not just in terms of the body, in terms of cycles, cycles of being.
Well, we don't talk about this in 10 Truths necessarily, but I think we lead to it. And that is the real death is, again, if we truly embrace this ego self and start to unpack what's in there, that's the death that really counts.
Yeah.
Because once we give up the ego and it's trying to run our life, then perhaps we can truly live.
Right. Well, it's about recognizing what the ego is for what it is and using it to help you live.
10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. The book is available on Amazon.com. 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. David McMillian, Lauren Leon McMillian. Hope you'll get it and hope you'll enjoy it. Give us some feedback if you do.
Please.
We'll be back here on Strategies in just a moment.
From the bayou to your table, we're keeping it alive with flavors from the family passed down to survive. The Godfather's here with a twist in the tail, alligator Italian sausage, and it sure won't fail. It's the boss of the bayou, a taste you can't refuse. Italian tradition, Cajun infused. Godfather sausage, bold and true. The Padres bringing the bayou to you.
Get the Godfather alligator Italian sausage only at Fertitta's Delicatessen, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Pick up a muffy while you're there. The Godfather alligator Italian sausage. It's a taste you can't refuse. Sold only at Fertitta's, 1124 Fairfield Avenue in Shreveport. Dealing with stress, pain, feel like you're running out of options? When your life is balanced, wellness is a given. True wellness is holistic. It's about the mind, the body, and the spirit, all in balance. Now, there's a place right here in Shreveport that's all about helping us achieve peak mental, emotional, and physical health. The Balanced Life, 117 Kings Highway, right next door to Strawn's. Come see and feel the difference getting your life in balance can be. Many of your friends and neighbors have already learned the difference less stress and pain mean in their lives. You can book a discovery session right now online, thebalancedlife.us. All you've got to lose is stress, pain, or maybe both. Come see and feel for yourself the real difference balanced wellness makes. The Balanced Life Wellness Center, 117 Kings Highway in Shreveport, next door to Strawn's. Thebalancedlife.us.
Zoning out, let's take a ride. Healthy mind and heart open wide. Every step with spirit as our guide. Here on Strategies for Living. Mind, body, spirit, and the groove. Relationships smooth as ocean waves. open and heal. Words that make you feel alive. In every truth and every deal, we help you thrive, not just survive.
And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, talking about our little book, our Strategies little book.
Strategies for Living.
Strategies for Living little book. It's called 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. And it's available right now on Amazon.com. So it's available in printed form. We're working. We're working on those other versions. Hopefully soon we'll be able to announce we've got a Kindle version. Mm-hmm. Hopefully we will be able to announce we've got some people like audiobooks.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll be able to announce that in the near future. In the meantime, please get a copy of 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. And let us know what you think about it. You know, again, I think there's 10 truths here, and I think that, you know, they're all important. Certainly, we intentionally put we are creators as truth number one. Mm-hmm. We talked life is finite. That's truth number 6. Truth number 8. Mm-hmm. is, I think, related to those things that these things we've been talking about today, Lauren. And that is that the unexamined life gives our life away. Mm-hmm. And again, this kind of puts a ribbon on things, if you will, from what we've been talking about today. We've got, you know, we're staring at July the 4th, where we celebrate freedom in a magnificent way
in America,
in the United States, mm-hmm. and we are so blessed in our nation to have this wonderful, you know, our United States Constitution. I hope nothing ever happens to our country. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hope our country goes on and on and on. But if anything were to ever happen to our country, I hope we would have the good sense to refound it upon the Constitution, you know, because it's an inspired document. Mm. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States are inspired documents. And that relates to this truth 8, the unexamined life gives our life away. I'm going to make all of us uncomfortable. Okay. Including myself. Okay?
Let's do it.
So I'm on my soapbox over here about the Constitution.
Yeah.
When's the last time I read the Constitution?
Right.
And so I read it. I've read it. Mm-hmm. I've studied it, but it's been way back a long time ago. And that's one of the things that I think I'll do over this July 4th period. I think I'm going to download, it's easy, you know, download a copy of the United States Constitution. It's inspired. I think it's an inspired document. Yeah. That coupled with the Bill of Rights and the Declaration of Independence. Again, I hope our country endures for a long, long time. Okay. But if anything ever happened to us, I hope we would have the good sense to rebuild upon the Constitution. So, yeah, I'm off my soapbox.
I'm not gonna.
But that's the unexamined life. This truth number 8, the unexamined life gives our life away. We quote Robert Nozick in the beginning. I do not say with Socrates that the unexamined life is not worth living. That's unnecessarily harsh. However, when we guide our lives by our pondered thoughts, it then is our life that we are living, not someone else's. In this sense, the examined life is lived more fully.
Right. Yep. And, you know, I often think my clients probably shake their heads at me when I say this, but this is why I often say that trauma is actually can be one of our greatest gifts to ourselves. Mm. Because what it does is it gives you that opportunity to really look at what beliefs, what programs you've taken into your being,
Right.
so that you can start this journey of examining your life and then really taking true ownership and responsibility for becoming a
Right.
truly conscious creator
Right.
in the world.
But we got to be willing to get off the victim's
Right.
wheel, if you will, and quit blaming or making anybody else responsible for what's going on inside of us.
One of
because
my-
that's where it is.
Yeah, well, and one of my favorite Chinese, I think it's a Chinese proverb. It's an old proverb. It's the idea that the man who blames everyone is a long way from home. The man who blames himself is halfway there, and the man who blames no one has arrived. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And so it's just about being able to put down the blame, look at with intention, look at, well, with curiosity first, with curiosity and love. Look at what is it that I'm doing and what beliefs are running that doing and that being process.
Right.
You know, why am I doing it?
Yep.
Where is that coming from? What must I believe to be true for me to be feeling or acting this way?
What are you doing and why are you doing it?
Exactly. Exactly.
Which I'm asking the dog all the time. The dog never
And
really
then
answers
Then
me.
once you recognize it, you know, and you're able to make sense of it, it's about asking simply, is that something that I want to continue?
Yeah.
Is it serving me, or is it something that I want to actively pursue, you know, shifting out of?
And if
that's
if the
what it is.
And if the answer's no, then okay, well, what do I want now? You know.
Right. What do I want to create instead? And sometimes we don't know just yet. You know, sometimes it's okay to live, and I think this is where consciously creating can become quite scary for people. It's okay to live in that uncertainty between this was the program I was running, and so was the identity I formed for myself, and now I dropping some of those, and to live in the uncertainty of the in-between of this is what I want to create, but I'm not there
Living
yet.
with the uncertainty of that reinvention process.
And the messiness that comes with it, and the vulnerability.
And all of that, I would say, is truly freedom. Freedom at its best.
Yeah.
10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. It's available on Amazon.com. David McMillian, Lauren Leon McMillian, we're the authors, and appreciate your feedback. 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. It's a Strategies for Living little book. We have more to come. Stay with us. Hey, let's talk about the Robinson Film Center. You know, I say it a lot. There's no place like the Robinson.
Absolutely, there is not.
617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. You've got so much. You got the movies. You got Abby Singer's Bistro on the second floor of RFC, open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Saturday.
Newly remodeled.
Absolutely. Great menu. RobinsonFilmCenter.org is the way you check it all out. You can go to RobinsonFilmCenter.org at any time and find out what movies are showing. Here's the deal. You want to join the crowd, join the fun, become a member. When you become a member, you become a star. You get discounts on movies, you get concession upgrades, you get bistro deals. RFC, 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. I'll say it again. There's no place like the Robinson.
There is not, and I'm glad we have one right here.
Absolutely. The RobinsonFilmCenter.org.
Reading begins not in the classroom, but in your child's brain. I'm Donisa Walker with Learning RX Shreveport. If your child struggles to read, maybe he or she has trouble focusing or comprehending, Learning RX Shreveport offers a science solution to reading problems, working one-on-one with your child, targeting his or her reading skills. Today, call Learning RX Shreveport. Make an appointment to have your child assessed. I know you want to help your child, so does Learning RX Shreveport.
And welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian, talking about our new book, our Strategies for Living little book. It's called 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. How do you get it? Well,
Amazon.
Amazon.com. Or if you want a signed copy, drop by our office.
Yes.
Yeah.
1810 East 70th, Suite 300.
There you go. We've got copies there, and we'll be happy to
Absolutely.
autograph one for you if you like that kind of thing. And let us know what you think. What's your takeaway from this freedom talk we've been in today, Lauren?
Just, to remember, to bring ourselves into remembrance that we are truly free, and we truly are always creating, whether we recognize it or not.
Yeah.
And it's a simple, not easy. It's a simple shift, right? It's the shift from life is happening to me to life is happening
for me.
And if you can't even get to the for me part, just say life is happening.
Yeah.
And I have the option.
Yeah, that's neutral.
Right.
If you can't get to the life is happening for me, just go to neutral.
Life is
happening. And head towards it's happening for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And if life is happening, I have the responsibility and basically I have the ability to respond to life happening.
And that's what responsibility is.
Exactly.
The ability to respond. Mm-hmm. The little book, I think, will make us all think. It's called 10 Truths. 10 Truths That Will Change Your Life. I know that's a bold statement. But so far, the feedback that we're getting is that,
they're lived.
It's an apt title.
They've changed our lives and the lives of our life strategists. So
there you go. Folks, thank you for tuning into Strategies for Living. We appreciate you being with us. And we appreciate our sponsors making it possible. The Robinson Film Center and Azalea Cleaners and Pintail Roofing and Learning RX and the Balanced Life Wellness Center and Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of the Godfather, alligator Italian sausage, and some pretty good muffies, too. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call to make, who would you call? What would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillian, I'm David McMillian. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.